I got a good memory. I want to see how you remember it, bro.
Well, I've been in Mount Hershey School since kindergarten, so I mean, I always played basketball. Like I did it like almost every day, and like I always was like known like for playing basketball in a sense. So when he came, he was just, I'm not gonna lie, he was just like one of them big kids that made jokes all the time. So like he wasn't even in the basketball conversations. You know what I mean? So like the way we came across each other was like, he was like a funny little big guy.
Funny big guy. Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say, what are you now? You're still
a funny big guy. I think he mean a different big. But yeah, that's how I remember the first time actually like meeting him. It was in gym class. We was playing basketball, and he went up for a layup. Remember, he's a small guy, a really small guy. But when he went to lay the ball up, he jumped high and he kind of like kicked me, like not on purpose, but like by accident. And I went back home and I had told this kid, he was on the 8th grade basketball team. I was like, yo, this kid, like, he was pretty good. And he was like, Donyae. And I'm like, I don't know what his name. He was like, was he making everything? I'm like, yeah, that was him. He's like, yeah, he plays the ball, like, he's good. And then, like he said, I was a funny guy. So that's how I started to actually like meet everybody and get cool with them. But I got there in 6th grade and didn't start playing ball till 7th grade. I wasn't good till like 9th or 10th grade. But he got transferred to my student home 7th grade year. And he would always be outside playing and stuff, so I would go out there and start playing too. That's how I started playing.
I mean, it was more like, I think, natural. Like at first, like you said, like I said, like he was just like one of those guys that was like funny and around. But like when I got transferred, like he embraced me like at his student home, and like everybody there was like just naturally cool with me. And then like just me and his relationship just grew, cause yeah, I mean, you know the type of people that you're around. So like the stuff that I got from him was like genuine, and like he would just come out, play ball with me, like, and I think like basketball definitely helped in forming a relationship. But like, cause I played basketball all the time, so it's just natural that I'm gonna like be playing basketball all the time. But like, nah, and then from just then on, like, he never did nothing like disrespectful or ever like, you know what I mean, like try to like integrity in terms of like, I think like we have that close connection to where we always have each other's back.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made it last so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Basically with him, I'm the type of person who likes to get to know people. Like I like to talk to everybody. I like to like find out people's background and stuff. So when he came to the student home, I knew that he was good at basketball, but everybody knew that. So you know what I mean, when I would talk to him and stuff, and I realized like he comes from humble backgrounds. You know what I mean? Like he may walk around like confident and this and that, like nothing's wrong, but like then I started to find out like, you know, he has family situations like I do. He has, you know, parent situations, brother situations, you know, similar background as me. But like you said, everything was genuine between like one another, and it's just been cool ever since.
I mean, yeah, in terms of like Pedro has like always been like that outgoing person, and that's why like I even tell him like even like years ago, I'm like, you're going to be successful because like you just, everybody is attracts to you. Like you can stand out in a room full of 100 people because it's like, oh, there goes Pedro. Like, so like he's always had that like outgoing personality. Me and like, I don't know, I feel like sports definitely had a big part in it, but like I get attention through like a lot of my actions. So like I think him getting attention, I'm not saying he doesn't have actions that he doesn't get attention from, but I'm saying like, you just know, all right, that's Pedro. To know me, you gotta hear about me, or you gotta really like look into like, all right, who's doing something in terms of like, you know what I mean? Cause I have like the business aspects of things and I have like basketball in terms, but I can't show it, I don't have that type of personality. But I think like having that like back and forth, so like whenever we do have success, Pedro's picture is always gonna pop up, which I know and I'm cool with, you know what I mean? And like, so like those like things I think work hand in hand.
Yeah.
I just think my personality is like that, first of all, I want to point out, because I wasn't good at sports growing up. I was never the man, you know what I mean? Like on my middle school team, high school team, I was always like behind that. So I think I always felt like I had to do something to be like known. And like growing up, I knew about WWE. Like, you know.
Yep.
I didn't know nothing about no basketball. I didn't even know who like LeBron really was until like 7th grade, 8th grade, you know, so it took me a while. So, but I think hanging out with him helped me realize, like, hey man, like he said, like, you're gonna be known, you're gonna be seen, like, you don't always have to like put yourself out there too much. So
that's hard, like, it's hard to explain because in terms of just like how we got that good, like from elementary school, like, that's the thing, kids be like, how, like, can you like help me or train me, or like, how are you so good? And I'm like, I was working out and like practicing every day when I was like in kindergarten. Like, and it's not even something like I'm exaggerating. Like, literally in 1st, 2nd grade, I used to like run laps around my student home. Like, I used to shoot basketballs every day. So like in 2nd grade, I could make like 10 threes in a row because I would practice so much. And so like, the older I got, and like, you know what I mean, it's always also that like competitive nature, to where I wanted to be the best in the grade, and anybody who came to like my school, it was always, you gotta go against Donyae. So like, just keeping that fire and energy. And I think we knew, like, but in terms of like Pedro, and like when we like got to high school and things of that nature, the expectations, there wasn't much of it because like the school hasn't seen like the success that we like seen in like a long time. But like I think we just had that like competitive nature, and Pedro, he wants to be the best too, and he wants like his name like up there. So like, I think him having that underdog mentality, because even in high school to college, we always had that underdog mentality and just believing that we're the best. And like, I think like my work growing up, like, I could put that against anybody, so I use that to keep going. And Pedro can explain that.
Yeah, I just think that, like I said, when I first started playing, I wasn't good, but like when I did start playing, I wanted to be the best. Like, I wanted to try to beat him one-on-one. Like, I mean, I probably beat you once or twice, man, and he probably was tired. But like, I just think that it made me work harder and it made me better. But I didn't see success in that until my senior year of high school. You know, I didn't start a game until senior year of high school. But if you watch the film from that year and the film from college, you see the chemistry we have, and I just think that comes from in middle school watching him play, or trying to be like him when it comes to being on the court or playing in the student home and stuff like that. I think over time, the muscle memory and that like connection, and then the friendship outside of ball, like, I don't even like, it surprises me sometimes, like when I say he does these passes and I'm like, yeah, I knew you were gonna throw. He's like, yeah, I knew you were gonna beat her. And everyone else is in the crowd, like, when I'm like, I knew that was happening. I just think that watching him do that though, and hearing the stories, because he's not lying. Every story he said, like shooting underhand, he used to shoot threes sometimes, or betting teachers like Skittles, I'll make it from half court, and like, all right, go ahead, like thinking this guy's in 5th grade, he ain't making a half court, he makes it on the first try, stuff like that. Like, those stories are real. Like, so hearing that, and my, like I said, my drive of wanting to be the best and wanting to have my name out there too, like, just made me work hard. And then when you have somebody right here who, the best person I've ever played with, and arguably the best person on the court, you know what I mean, when he steps on anybody, just makes me want to up my game too and work harder and stuff like that.
And it's also that sense of like, a lot of people, like Pedro, he became good, like, let's say senior year when he like was starting and he knew he was gonna have like shine. But he, like, it's different. Like, a lot of people in this situation would be like, all right, I'm gonna try to do this myself, or like, I'm gonna try to be the man on the team. And like, we seen that a lot in high school, where it's like the egos get in the way. And Pedro, he's different than a lot, because a lot of people will go to Pedro like, why don't you try to be better than Donyae? Like, why don't you like do these things? And he's like, why would I try to be better if like we can win together? And so like, I think a lot of people don't have that mindset, and I think that's what definitely helps like with our success.
Definitely the underdog mentality, and people not expecting us to be there. Like you said, the Roman Catholic, those schools are expected to win every year. You know, and starting from senior year of high school, when we had like 4 or 5 seniors move on, it was like, okay, Donyae's a man now, who's that second guy? Who else is gonna help him out? And that's when I knew, all right, like, that's an underdog mentality. They're not even talking. I've been on the team for 4 years, like, what's going on? Or like, even here, like you said, Dylan goes down and everyone's like, oh my God, he's down. Like, hey, we got more guys on the team, you know, not just me, but other guys. There's always, like you said, like, not that I don't get enough credit, I hate to say that, because my teammates give me credit, my coaches give me credit, but like, sometimes with the fans, they're like, you don't get as much credit sometimes. Or I don't show up on the box score with 20 points or 7 threes and this and that. Like, so it's like, oh, he had a decent game. But like, just always trying to go out there and not just impress myself, but also like impress others and gain the respect from people. And that's something that I've always tried to do every game and every year, and I feel like I've accomplished that.
The underdog mentality, I say I don't really like take that approach. Like in terms of just like coming to Penn State Harrisburg, it was more like a self decision. Like, I mean, of course, like Pedro played a big part in that too. But like, I was like, all right, I'll go to a Division III school and try to do the same thing I did at Mill Hershey per se. And you know, you get the people that's like, oh, he went to a Division III school, like blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So like, it's always that talk. But like, I think like I would do it over again 100 times because I'd rather be like the man on a Division III school than be sitting the bench at a Division I school. You know what I mean? Like pushing to play, and also like just the impact. Like that's just like the stuff that you're always gonna remember. Like coming from like freshman year, starting in high school and senior year, to all right, let's see if we can get 14 wins this season. To like, nah, we got a good chance of being in March Madness, and we got a good chance of trying to win states. So like those memories of where we started to where you went, and like at the end of the day, the impact never goes away. Like Mill Hershey's always gonna be remembered, especially like down the line of like, yo, they had that big run, or the next year they went this way. And I think like having that conversation started and being like the starters who started that is huge.
Going off of that too, I think going from high school to college and being local was kind of like a pride thing too. Like the community knows us. It's not like we're going to, you know, a different state or hours away. We're going 20 minutes down the road. Like we know that every game we're gonna have somebody from Mill Hershey watching us, or even in the beginning of our freshman and sophomore year, they would repost some things that you guys posted, stuff like that. So it's definitely like a pride thing too. Like our family of Milton Hershey, just how the dynamic is like a family, and then to go to a Penn State Harrisburg family, but the families are so close together. It's like, you know, we're playing for a lot more than just ourselves. You know, we're playing for that community and this community, and a lot of kids especially are looking up to us and stuff like that. So it was important. I'm being real with this. I didn't have a lot of offers. Like first of all, I didn't even ask like my high school coach about that, but there were, let's just be realistic, a lot of guys weren't calling for me like that. They were definitely calling for this guy. But Friday and Frank were definitely persistent and always around, and I think I've made a name for myself here, but I think it was also like a, hey, we really want you, like, and we'll take, you know what I mean, like your right hand man.
What a regret. We had to take this guy. Are you kidding me?
You know, that's like, so I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't that. I mean, some school, I'm not gonna name them out, but they actually did call and say, hey, we'll take your buddy, and didn't even say my name. Like, at least Friday and Frank knew who I was and was shaking my hand. So
he's only a mid-pen all-star, but it's fine, man.
So I just think that played a part in coming here, and then, like I said, staying close to Mill Hershey and not too far from his home and not too far from Allentown for me from home played a part for me at least.
Going to class and doing a lot of things, like it definitely, I think, like it's something that is hard for me, especially like, and then, you know, I mean, practice isn't easy as well. It's 6 days a week. It's more than a job. So like, just like keeping and like pushing on to that aspect, I'm like, all right, to wake up every day and like go hard at school and basketball, like at a basketball college like Division I or Division II, I'm like, I'm not sure if I can handle that, because at the end, I'm like, to be honest, like I don't, and that's why I did take a year, like a semester off, because like school is something that is very difficult for me.
Yeah.
And so I think like just coming here, definitely like Friday and Frank, I think definitely like they help the situation. I think they're like very reasonable and they try to work with the kids, and I think they made it more adjustable in a way for me than it would have been maybe going to another school. And so I just think like you said, like them wanting us here, and like just I think not a big school that I'm every day like literally eat, sleep, basketball in school. I think that helped me to come here. We knew we were special, and I think we was also eager of like, all right, just wait till next year and see what we can do. And just like I said, I think like it was just hard to transition, especially.
So freshman year was hard because, like you said, transitioning basically from high school to college. And I know Zed came from a winning background, Dylan was pretty good. We came from a winning background, and then coming here and program wasn't where it is now, and the seniors who had the mindset that like, hey, we're seniors, like he said, like kind of that pride thing. I play with a lot of emotion. I show it. I'm not afraid to. So I think I used to show it a lot in practice and stuff like that. We kind of like used to bump heads a lot.
Yeah.
But like he said, when we would play, like sometimes underclassmen versus upperclassmen, we seen how good we were. And that was, like I said, we were all freshmen in college. We all came, Zach's from Jersey, Dylan's from Maryland, we came from Mount Hershey. But we would play really well together just in practice off of random stuff. So we knew that once the seniors moved on and it was just like our team now, basically a sophomore team with B. Cole, of course, that we were gonna be special. We didn't know like how good we were gonna be, or we didn't know how well it was gonna be like with refs and in between the lines, but we knew that like, hey, we got something between us five guys, and ended up showing sophomore year. I can touch on the COVID year a little bit. It was definitely hard because we didn't know what was going on or what was gonna happen, but we tried to stay engaged. So we would all go like to the outdoor courts. We all try to stay together, play basketball still. You know, Friday we still have meetings with us. We talk and everything. But then as the year kept going and it was September and October and like, then it's like, all right, like what's going on? I think we kind of like started to like digress like a little bit, and like guy were kind of just like, okay, like we're on the fence. And of course Friday's trying to keep it normal, like he's trying to keep his composure with us, like, no, we should be good, maybe in the next month or the month after that. But then after, you know, by December, like guys knew we weren't playing, so I know like for me, like I stopped really working on my game, and he went into focusing on his business. A couple guys kind of started doing their things, guys were going home, and it was definitely hard. I think if we would have never had to take just that long of a break, like we would have been even more ready to go. But then coming back this year, like you said, the expectations are higher and all that stuff. I just think that we just knew what we did sophomore year. We knew that like the chemistry and the coaching and all that stuff was ready to go. And I think when we step on the court, we just be like, okay, we don't care who we play, like we're ready to compete. Like no matter how good they look on paper, 1 loss on the year or 2 losses on the year, whatever the number 9 team in the country had, we just know that like when you get in between the lines with us, you just gotta beat us. Show us why you're number 9, or show us why you're the best in, or 23-1, or whatever the case may be.
Like you said, it was a lot of up and downs, like not knowing, because we had an idea that the season wasn't going to happen, but like just holding on to that like thing of like, all right, we might have a season. But whenever we figured out there was no season, like for me per se, like, because my plan coming here was to come here 2 years, which a lot of people, you know what I mean, innerly knew that. So like, I was like, as soon as there was no season, I'm like, all right, I came here for 2 years. I did, you know what I mean, what I wanted to do. I think, like I had 2 of the most like exciting games that probably I ever played in here with Lancaster Bible and John Hopkins. And so I was like I'm happy how it ended. And so I went on like my own journey. Like I left school, so I didn't come back from my semester, and then I got my CDL and like I started up my business. And so whenever I started up my business, it was that talk of like, all right, who's coming back, and like I'm like, all right, I had to figure out to have that like motivation to be like, all right, I was happy how it ended. That's the thing, like I was happy. I was like, all right, I did what I set out to do, and just like I'm like, and then my business was running on itself in terms of I didn't physically have to be there for it to go. And I think that played a big factor on me like deciding to come back, and like me having the meeting on Friday, and you know what I mean, with Sean. And just like, I think I was like, why not? If I'm able to still do what I wanted to do, that I accomplished outside of school, start my business and have it be successful, and then mix that in with like coming back with like Pedro and B. Cole and, you know what I mean, my senior class and also the junior class that was with us. I'm like, if we can have another shot, because they was telling me like, man, just come back, like we could do this again. Like they was like, we can be good, but like, I don't know, we can win that much, you know what I mean? So like just having that also is like, all right, I think I can make it happen. So I'm happy with coming back. Like I said, I think things went well, and that was definitely a hard year, but the outcome came out pretty good. You know, I think it's the same thing as Mill and Hershey, almost in a like sense of like, we knew what we done, like we're proud of what we've done, and like like you said, it's always good to just come back to the areas that, like, you know what I mean, that you get embraced or like people understand it. But I don't know. I take more like that's what I expected approach to it, and it's like the good that comes with it. I'm happy with it, and I'm just like happy in general with like the team, and like hopefully it like impacts other people just as much, or like, you know what I mean. Like I feel like just seeing how everybody else reacts to it, or seeing a kid like come up to me like, oh, you're Donyae, or you know what I mean, like talking to recruits who's telling me that like they've been watching me since how long. Like I think those things are like brings me like more joy.
Yeah, same for me. I'm more happy like what I did for the community. Special moments like the girl on the cheerleading team, JC. She told me I'm her favorite basketball player and she loved to support me. Guys like Evan, who comes to all the games and stuff, I feel like, you know, he'll always remember me. I'll always remember walking out senior night, being a part of like Orange for Owen, Black Lives Matter games, like Consent Matters game, things like that. I think more like what I'm gonna remember and like really appreciate more, like, because the wins and losses were a lot of fun and we'll remember the moments, like especially people who were there. At the end of the day, like it is a game. So like more, like I said, stuff that we do in the community, like he said, like future recruit. It's actually a real story. Somebody who came here on a visit, you know, said, hey, I want to meet Donyae. I've been watching him play. Like, you know what I mean? He's not that much older than him, you know? Yeah. He's not saying, oh, I want to, you know what I mean? It's like an NBA guy, like, I want to meet LeBron. Like, he's like, I want to meet Donyae. Like, he's a, you know what I mean? So stuff like that, I think, leaving that mark on the community means a lot more than like, and then the friendships, of course, and relationships, like with our teammates, like the younger guys and the older guys. I think that matters more than anything else, like basketball stat-wise. Just to touch on like it ending, everything about to be done, not just basketball-wise, but college-wise. Like it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, made a lot of memories, made a lot of friends. But guys like me and him who went to Milton Hershey, like we've gone through a lot of periods in our life where, okay, going to Milton Hershey was one step, graduating Milton Hershey was another step. Going to college is big for us. I don't have a lot of people in my family that went to college. I don't think he does either. Just going to college, doing a lot of things for basketball, now getting ready to graduate college is just that next step. And I think that we've done well in adjusting in our steps and leaving our mark in everything that we do. So it's just exciting to see like what's gonna come next. Although we have the extra year and stuff, I just think that like certain things come to an end for a reason. Like he said, we left our mark. I think I'm happy with how things turned out. I think he's happy how things turned out. So just exciting. And like you said, we had a lot of support from the community. And like I said, both communities are close, Milton Hershey and Penn State Harrisburg. So we know that they have our back. We're excited to have their back and still gonna represent them even though we're graduated and moved on from it.
4 years was, it went well. And I think like you said, the impact will go on past like its years. And what I'm most proud of is like definitely the people who are graduated. Like they all have something set in place. So like I talked to B. Cole and he's like, I have like 3 interviews set up. Or I talked to Pedro and he's like, I'm setting this up with this person. And Dylan's like, I already got my job. So like people, like it's like bigger than like, I think basketball is, like I said, it brought us together. It showed us like hard work. We already had, I don't think no job is gonna take as much from us as basketball did. 6 days, going hard, lifting, practice. So like, I think we're gonna even blossom even more outside of basketball. And like, I really believe in like the seniors that are graduating are gonna be somewhere in the next 5 years that I can reach out and be like, hey, what you wanna do? Or like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm more excited about the next step, definitely. And I'm happy how things are going. And I just think preparing ourselves, we did a good job doing that. And we got a lot more to come.
I was gonna say that, add on to that, like he just said, basketball with the workouts, games and other stuff was a lot. I think Coach Friday and Coach Frank made it a point to let us know that like, because you know Coach Friday and Frank, they love basketball and everything is like, hey, basketball. But he always made it a point also like, hey, the real world's gonna be like this too. It's gonna be hard, you're gonna have tough days, you're gonna have to get up early, you're gonna have to stay up late, you're gonna have long days. Like, so I think he always made a good emphasis of like, hey, like basketball's gonna prepare you for stuff beyond this. And like I said, like he said, those friendships and being able to call B. Cole 2 years from now and get lunch, or calling Dylan and seeing how he's taking over Maryland and stuff like that. it's just exciting and something that's really special that, like he said, goes beyond basketball in the game.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like we're thankful for all the coaches, and we reach out to everybody. It's like that's the thing. Like there's no like bad taste, and I feel like Friday's family, Frank's family, everybody's family. So like nothing's gonna be lost in terms of like relationship wise or like you know what I mean. So I think things are just gonna keep living on.
What don't people know about Donyae Baylor-Carroll? What don't they know about Pedro Rodriguez?
A lot of people, the inner circle knows this. A lot of people don't know this stuff. For everyone who loved his performance at Hopkins, where he dropped, what, 45 points? His pregame meal was a little different than everyone else's. I actually have a photo too, I'll send it to you later. So everyone's eating pasta or salad, something like that, and he goes, I need something, like, I need to have my meal. What's your meal? Donyae, before he dropped 45 points and led us to a victory against Hopkins, had a bucket of fried chicken, French fries, and a Coca-Cola. Not only did he do that, but we were watching Yeshiva in the hotel room, and I look over and I have a picture of him asleep next to his fried chicken and his soda. But he dropped 45 points and led us to a double overtime victory, so.
What is wrong with you? Story about Pedro? Pedro in high school, right?
Oh my God. They want to high school stories. We can do high school stories.
High school. Pedro Rodriguez was actually about to transfer.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
He was about to transfer from Hershey School and go back to Allentown. He felt like he wasn't getting his respect. He felt like he wasn't getting enough minutes. He actually told me that he was very considering going back. So
like an hour.
We probably wouldn't, you know what I mean, be here right now if Pedro decided to play with Tyrese Martin, UConn.
Yeah, guy who plays down at UConn, Talik Williams, pretty good player. I was like, I'm going down there. They were making noise down at Allentown. I'm gonna go down there and play with those guys. I wouldn't have been able to probably make that team. They were really good, but I was gonna leave.
Yeah, so I think that's it.
Who's the best shooter in this room right now?
Best shooter
in this room?
Might have to be
Candace Butler.
Candace might have me a little bit.
Candace probably then me, then Donyae. Like just open shots, just shooting for fun, yeah. What do you mean in game?
Pedro, you can't even shoot.